Let's get started. Alright, namaste everyone. Welcome to Hindi University. Really excited to have all of you in this Sunday. As you know, we meet every Sunday, 8 a.m. US Pacific time, which is time in the west coast of the US, and we learn about the Hindi language. For those of you who are new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University. You can find a bunch of videos that we have put together from beginners to advanced level. If you want to know the sequence and much more details, you can also follow the page that we have, which is tiny.cc/Hindi University. It's the page we put together that talks about how to join the Sunday live classes, which are absolutely free. It also talks about the practice session that is hosted by our wonderful students. You can join the practice sessions as well, and the timing according to your location. You can find it there. It also has the book that we've been currently been following, which is Teach Yourself Hindi. It's a very popular book written by Professor Rupert Snell. He's a Hindi professor at University of Texas, Austin. Currently, we've been doing chapter 16 of this book. So if you missed any of the previous classes, you can follow this link and watch some of the previous classes as well. Even if you missed it, my goal is to make sure you can still follow along with your current understanding. Okay, and in chapter 16, we've been going slowly over a topic called conjunct verbs. So we spent good amount of time. This is going to be the last class on the conjunct verb, and my goal is by the end of this class, you will have a pretty good understanding of the conjunct verbs. Okay, so just a quick reminder: if you can mute yourself, if while you're not speaking, I think that'll be great, so that there's no background noise. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute and then I'm gonna. Awesome. So I think I've muted everyone who's not speaking. Right. So with that being in mind, let's jump to the topic. And the goal for today's class is to learn about 2 new conjunct verbs. Okay. These are conjunct verb, and these 2 new conjunct verbs are दिखाई देना and सुनाई देना. सुनाई देना. Okay, you must have heard each of them in different contexts. I'll try to give as many examples as possible in this class. Okay, so the first one is written in Devanagari as the with E, kha with A, and then dikhai dena. And the second one is you have a sa with U, na with A, sunai dena. Certain difference in the regular verbs that you have, which is dekhna and sunna. Dekhna is to see, sunna is to hear. Okay, you must have heard of those, and are also familiar with those 2 verbs, dekhna and sunna. Dekhna is to see, and sunna is to hear. Conjunct verb, as you probably heard in the previous classes, when you have noun and adjectives followed by the verbs. Okay, in this case, dena is used as a conjunct verb, like the other part of conjunct verb. When they are used along with noun and adjective, they are used with the other form of the verb. These are called conjunct verb. Okay. The most popular you probably heard, karna and hona. They are used with multiple other nouns and adjectives, and it becomes conjunct verb. Okay, so it's dikhai dena and sunai dena. Okay, without going into the detail, anyone would like to share what is the meaning of dikhai dena? And first, let's start with dikhai dena. Anyone? You can unmute yourself and you can share it.
I'm making a guess, Ashu Ji, but is it to be shown, like you're asking someone to show you something?
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
But
No, good. Or who else? दिखाई देना. Let's talk about that only.
Yeah, I think it's also to be seen or to be shown.
Okay, to be seen or to be shown. Good. Okay. Anyone else? So what is the difference then to see versus to be seen or to be shown?
Well, I think the scenario is like if perhaps you're going to let's say to purchase an item, you are asking someone to show you something.
Okay.
Right? Rather than you seeing something, it is someone provided the item. You are asking for the item to be provided to you to be seen. Then.
Okay. Okay.
So, I don't know.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Anyone else? Okay, great. So you're almost there. Okay, to be seen, to become visible. When you see something, that's मैं देखता हूँ. Okay, मैं you can see an object. The other one is used in a passive sense. It's seen to you, seen by you or seen to you, or it's visible to you. Okay, let's say I go to some hills in San Francisco, and from there, from that location, Golden Gate Bridge is visible to me. Okay, a bridge is visible to me, Golden Gate Bridge. In that case, I can say Golden Gate. So I'm gonna just write it like this: Golden Gate Bridge दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, I didn't write the मुझको, like that's implied that when I'm saying it, Golden Gate Bridge दिखाई दे रहा है, that means to me Golden Gate Bridge is visible, दिखाई दे रहा है. I'm saying it in the present continuous tense. Okay, so we'll come to सुनाई देना, but let's just continue to focus on दिखाई देना. Okay, the first one, as I said, is Golden Gate Bridge दिखाई दे रहा है. That means Golden Gate Bridge is visible to me, or to me it is seen. Okay, so let's continue to practice more of the same pattern. So and again this one is think of as case 1, where you only see the present continuous part, which is you remove the na, and you put raha hai, rahi hai, rahe hain based on the noun here. So दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, दिखाई दे रहा है. Now let me ask the same question to Kelly ji. When there are wildfires in California, and then I ask you, आपको क्या दिखाई दे रहा है? How will you respond to me? आपको क्लाउड्स में और आकाश में क्या दिखाई दे रहा है? Try to make a guess. Okay. Anyone else? If I were to ask you this, when there is a lot of essentially, you can say.
May I try?
Yeah, go for it.
मुझे आग
Okay.
दिखाई दे रहा है.
That.
Or I don't know whether.
This feminine, so it would be.
दिखाई दे रही है.
Okay, that's right. But typically we see a lot of smoke.
हाँ, I didn't know what the word for
Yeah.
it. Okay, so change it for us.
It's called धुआं. धुआं.
मैं आकाश में धुआं दिखाई दे रहा है.
Very good. मुझे. To me.
मुझे मैं.
Right. So to me it would be मुझे धुआं दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay. So far so good, right? We're still in this pattern. Think about this part is a static part or style part. दिखाई दे रहा है, because that's the whole point of getting you used to this pattern. Okay. Anything else that you think can be fit here? when you want to say that it is visible to me. You can write it, in the chat if you feel comfortable that way. All of you can. Okay, I think somebody, Anushka wrote, मुझे fire आंख दिखाई दे रही है.
Can you use people?
Oh, yes, you can say that. So, who would you say that? Like, just use a name, let's say.
My mother.
My mother, okay? So, you can say, मुझे मेरी माँ दिखाई दे रही है. Okay, so slight nuance there. Let's say you see some very gentle lady, okay, very close to your mom, and then when you see her, it can also mean that when you see your mom, in her. Okay, so you can say मुझे आप में मेरी माँ दिखाई दे रही है. Hope that makes sense, right? One is the literal translation. You are far away and you can see your mom. माँ दिखाई दे रही है. Okay, that's the literal translation. The other one is you see someone like your mom is like, I see my mom in you. माँ दिखाई दे रही है. You following me, JD? Or question, comment?
Would that be pronounced and said the same way?
Yes.
I see my mother and I see my mother in you.
Yes, that's right. The only thing is, मुझे माँ दिखाई दे रही है. That means would be, मुझे. In the second one, आप में, in you. मुझे आप में माँ दिखाई दे रही है. That's the only new thing you are putting in there to demonstrate that within you I see my mom.
The verb structure stays the same.
That's right. However, it is used in negative in many ways. Okay, so for example, I see a lot of my students and I do not see one of them. Okay, I can say तारा दिखाई दे नहीं रही है. तारा दिखाई नहीं दे रही है. So let's say you organize a party and you invite a lot of your friends. Okay, one of them is not visible to you. Maybe they are there, but it's not visible to you. And you can say तारा दिखाई नहीं दे रही है. Okay, and then someone can say हाँ वो अभी busy है, या वो अभी बीमार है, या अभी वो out of town है, so on and so forth. Okay, there are different, this part is still the same. Okay, so just try to follow that. We're just playing around with it in positive sentences. Negative we just did. We'll do interrogative as well, where we ask questions. Okay, so
Sorry, Ashu Ji.
yeah,
Where does the nahi go in this dikhai de? Does it not go before the dikhai de or?
दिखाई दे. So give your sentence. What were you trying to say?
No, generally, does the nahi go before the verb or?
Yeah, so दिखाई नहीं, you were trying to say here, दिखाई नहीं दे रही है, or
Because dikhai de is a whole verb.
that's right.
As a conjunct verb, nahi dikhai de rahi hai? No, it doesn't go like that.
I think both are going. So
Always.
let's say
Okay.
तारा.
Okay, thank you.
So you can put here
Thank you.
तारा नहीं. Let's just make sure that it works well. So तारा नहीं दिखाई दे रही है. That's correct. तारा दिखाई नहीं दे रही है. You can put it here also. All of them will fit well. It's emphasis on one versus the other. Okay. Tara, let me write it down so that way I can think as well along with you. Okay, so first one, let's say it's basically Tara दिखाई नहीं दे रही है. Okay, versus Tara नहीं दिखाई दे रही. This one, right? These are the two things that you were questioning or anything else, any other variation that comes to your mind?
I mean, it might be a very stupid question. I thought dikhai dena is the whole verb. That's how I looked at it. So if that's the case, should it not be? Yeah, nahi dikhai de rahi. And the other one is tara dikhai de nahi rahi hai. No, it doesn't sound correct then.
Let's write it down as well. Tara
Dikhai de nahi rahi hai. That doesn't sound correct though. It sounds wrong.
dikhai de nahi rahi. Yeah, I will not. Let's look at all of them. Okay, Tara dikhai de nahi rahi. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, it won't be that, like, it will not flow very well. Let me put it this way. These two, you will see in the speakers using most commonly. Okay, your comment was like, can I put it before the verb? Yes. Okay, Tara nahi dikhai de rahi hai. And the second one also, Tara dikhai nahi de rahi hai. Okay, you can put it between this as well.
Yeah.
You can put it between as well. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
तो आशीष जी,
Yeah.
I have question. मेरा एक सवाल है.
हाँ. पूछो.
I have one question.
Go for it.
Okay. Now Tara dikhai says not Tara. If there is JD, JD dikhai de raha hai.
That's right. That's exactly right. So if it is masculine, if it is male, it will be JD dikhai nahi de raha hai. Okay. That's exactly right. Because Tara is a female, you are using rahi hai because of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, makes sense. Awesome. So that's a negative one. Okay. Let's say nothing is visible to you. Okay. I cannot see anything. So there are multiple ways to say that. If I use I cannot see anything, one is like you use the models, which is sakna. The other one is you use dikhai dena as your conjunct verb. So using that pattern, what would you say? Which is dikhai de. 1 minute, okay? I think there's some background noise. Okay, so I put them on mute. Alright, so this one is still the same pattern, and you have to use anything to reflect that. Okay? Because I cannot, I'm gonna say dikhai nahi de raha hai. Which interrogative would you put here?
Sorry, the dog is making noise. Would you use kuch?
You can say kuch. That's right. You can say kuch. Okay. So you can say kuch. No problem. Okay. So you can say kuch dikhai nahi de raha hai. Kuch dikhai nahi de raha. And by default, it follows the masculine singular. That's why it's. You will not say kuch dikhai nahi de rahi hai. Okay? Because you don't, if there is a specific noun, then you can qualify it as a masculine, versus feminine. But by default, it is following, the masculine singular. That's why it's like kuch dikhai nahi de raha hai. Okay? Let's say, and think of a context like, where you visit, let's say, San Francisco downtown. Okay? It's so foggy. It's so foggy that you don't see anything. Okay? Or if you're driving and all of a sudden you are on the hills and so many clouds are there and it's not visible, nothing is visible to you. Okay? And you can say, kuch dikhai nahi de raha hai. Okay? I cannot see anything or nothing is visible to me. Okay? Kuch dikhai nahi de raha.
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
is it in this case, kuch is correct or kuch bhi is correct? In my head it comes kuch bhi.
You can say kuch bhi dikhai nahi de. It's more emphasis basically. You can say kuch bhi dikhai nahi de raha hai. You can say either.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuch bhi dikhai nahi de raha hai. Okay. Again, this part is still constant. Dikhai de raha hai, dikhai nahi de raha hai. We are still playing around with changing the first part and trying to make sense of So let's see some more variations here. Okay, and feel free to you share your sentences as well in the chat. If you can come up with something more interesting.
Ashu Ji, may I follow along Nan's comments then and say there are 3 places that a he can go. In front of the total verb, a he, dikai de, or dikai the he de, or where was the last thing? Oh, in front of the continuous addition. So dikai de nahira rahahe.
Yeah, I mean I won't really. You're right. I mean, but it's not so. It doesn't flow that naturally. So the first 2 are the more like the common ones that you would see.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let's say you go to the let's say you go to the doctor, okay, and you see some problems seeing things, okay, or these days you see your vision is impacted, someone's vision is impacted, and they it's hard for them to see things far away or things too close, okay. You can say something like, डॉक्टर साहब आजकल कम दिखाई दे रहा है. Come is less in this case, so it's not visible to me. It's these days आजकल कम दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, that's what it comes across. So you go to a doctor and if you tell them that आजकल कम दिखाई दे रहा है, he would interpret it as like you have some problem with your vision. So okay, testing करते हैं, okay, आंखों की testing करते हैं to find out if you will get glasses or something like that. Okay, कम दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, you see things blurry. How will you say that? So that's also commonly thing. If you have vision issues, you can go and tell the doctor. One is you just use the English word, blurry दिखाई दे रहा है. But what's the Hindi word, if anyone has heard of it? We have some senior students as well, high KG and anyone else would like to share? Sarah ji? Yeah.
Is it a dhundla?
Yes, that's right. That's right. You will use dhundla. And it means blurry. So you have a dha with u, a dot, dhundla. Dhundla दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, dhundla.
You forgot the chakra then.
Yes. धुंधला दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay. Multiple places where you can use it. One is like if your vision is blurry, okay, धुंधला दिखाई दे रहा है और धुंधला दिखाई देता है, which is present indefinite. The other one is, let's say there's a lot of fog, and because of that it's like you see objects but they are blurry, and you can say धुंधला दिखाई दे रहा है. Questions, anyone? Too hard, too easy? Anyone? Okay.
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
in these sentences, do you leave out the subject? I mean, like it's understood?
It's understood. It's implied.
Okay.
Whether it is you are saying it's to me or you are saying it on behalf of the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's use it in a little bit more interesting way, which is these are like basically literal translation. But let's say a difference is visible to you. Okay, difference in the results of someone's work, hard work, difference in the the town, it developed a lot, and now you can see the difference in the town and difference in someone's ability. Okay, what is the word for difference in Hindi?
Alag.
Alag, okay, okay. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to share what is the difference? Let's see some of the folks and on Facebook if they share what is the word for difference. It's a Urdu word which is commonly used in Hindi as well. It's called farq. Huh?
Antar or Vibhinata.
Okay, antar. Okay, you can say that. Farq, antar.
Or
Okay.
Bhinnata.
Okay, bhinnata. Okay. So I'm going to use this one, but this is correct as well. Okay, so you have a fa and then ra and ka. Farq. Farq dikhai de raha hai. Okay, it's an Urdu word but quite accepted and adopted and used popularly in Hindi as well. So farq दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, फर्क दिखाई दे रहा है और फर्क दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. Okay, so think of it this way: your friend, they've been practicing singing for 5 years, and you meet them after a long time and you see them perform and you can tell them, okay, बहुत फर्क दिखाई दे रहा है. That means you see a lot of difference in them from before and after. Okay, you go to a town after many years and it's completely changed. A lot of good roads, good infrastructure. You can say फर्क दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, जयपुर में बहुत फर्क दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay, or it's exactly the same. जयपुर में कोई फर्क दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. Okay, you can use that. Okay, good. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts? Similar sentences using dikhai dena. Just to kind of summarize, if some of the folks join a bit late, we're still doing the conjunct verb. The first one is dikhai dena, which is to be seen, to become visible. And there we are learning various use cases of it. Okay. Awesome. Anyone else would like to share? Sunita ji, anything comes to your mind? Awesome. So let's continue to follow along here. Let's say you take a medicine. Okay, you take a medicine and the results of that medicine are visible to you. How will you say that in Hindi? Result is, in this case, would be
Faida.
Huh? Faida. Okay.
Faida dikhai de raha hai.
Faida is good. You can say faida. Result. Faida is improvement, right? Faida or benefit.
Yeah, like
Benefit, right? You can say asar as well. Asar is asar. Okay. Impact. Okay. So you can say. Anyone else would like to, before I write it down, anyone else would like to share? Impact.
खाने के बाद बहुत असर दिखाई दे रहा है.
Very good, very good. So you can say दवा का असर दिखाई दे रहा है. Okay. On the contrary, if it doesn't work, you can be really pissed and you like, what the heck, दवा का असर कुछ असर दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. Like was a crappy medicine, कोई असर नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है. You can say that too, right? So you can play it around both ways. Okay. You can complain like खराब medicine थी, कोई असर नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है. Let's do some more advanced sentences. Okay. So again, if you think about it, our second part is still the same. दिखाई दे रहा है, दिखाई दे रही. So far we've been doing masculine singular for the most part. JD give one example where
Ashu Ji,
yeah.
can you use the faida also instead of fakar there? Dawai ka faida dikhai de raha hai.
You can say that. It's there's nothing wrong with दवाई का फायदा दिखाई दे रहा है. Although I would use होना with that. दवाई से फायदा हो रहा है. Okay. Okay. Let's do. So far we've been doing दिखाई दे रहा है. Let's try to see if we were to do feminine. Okay. So let's say, I see Radhika ji and I'll say Radhika खुश दिखाई दे रही है. राधिका खुश दिखाई दे रही है. What does it mean, Radhika ji?
You see me happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to translate it one-on-one in English because it's a passive voice.
I look for you, to you, and look happy.
That's right. To me, you look
happy.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. To me, you look like happy. Radhika खुश दिखाई दे रही है. Okay. On the contrary, like, let's say, your relative, they are very caring for you, and they see you some, on your head, they see some tension. They're like, Radhika परेशान दिखाई दे रही है. What happened? क्या हुआ Radhika? And you like, मैं परेशान नहीं हूँ, मैं ठीक हूँ. Right? So that's the slightly opposite. It's not like dukhi per se, but Radhika, to them, you're looking like, tense. Hopefully you guys are still following it, okay? I'm gradually adding complexity to it, but hopefully it's still...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because you would say, mujhe khushi hoti hai, so you don't need to add a ko after Radhika?
No, so because that part is to who Radhika is looking happy or to sad.
Oh, okay.
You would put ko there, right? So
Okay.
so somebody saying it. So मुझको राधिका खुश दिखाई दे रही है. So I'm putting ko to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Good question there. Okay.
Ashu Ji, may I note that as with the many uses of verbs in English and Hindi, we're now sort of sloughing off into the idea of looks like or seems like,
That's right.
as well as just the plain visible
Yep.
or appear to be.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Radhika dikhai. Okay. So now again, if I invited a lot of friends and she's the one not visible, it's not seen in the party. Radhika dikhai. This one we've done it. Dikhai nahi de rahi hai. Okay. Radhika, you can say Radhika kahin dikhai nahi de rahi hai. I cannot see her anywhere. Kahin dikhai nahi de. I've looked around, but she's not visible to me anywhere. Radhika kahin nahi dikhai de rahi hai. Okay. So far so good. I want to see more sentences from you guys, so that gives me more confidence. Nothing else. तब मुझे फर्क दिखाई देगा. Okay. Let's see if there is a question on Facebook that someone had asked. So Vidya ji and Madi ji are following it there dedicatedly. Okay. Uska kaam. Okay. Good. So let's keep going. So far, these were all, I purposely wrote them in present continuous. You can certainly make sentences in present indefinite as well. Okay. Which is basically visiting a doctor, and rather than saying like I cannot, you can say आजकल दिखाई नहीं देता है, which is like these days I कम दिखाई देता है, like less things are visible to me. Okay. I'll shift the gears and now we'll try to make sentences in the past tense. So this one will get slightly harder, dikhai dena, because you will conjugate dena just like the way you conjugated dena in the past tense, which is basically diya, diye, and di. Okay, that's how you will conjugate it, right? So let's say you live in a place where some incident happened, okay, and the police is trying to investigate, okay. They can ask you like, what was visible to you last night, okay, and you have to, you know, one way would be you will say, you can say last night, last week or last night, what did you see? What did you see? One interpretation, you just directly write it like पिछली रात. Last night is पिछली रात. आपने क्या देखा? What did you see? If you didn't know about दिखाई देना, you would simply use ne with आप, what for, you know, kya for what, and you will simply say the verb देखना and use it as a past tense. आपने क्या देखा? Okay. Let's say if you have to use दिखाई देना instead of आपने क्या देखा, what did you see? What was visible to you? How would you say the same thing? It's a harder one, so you know, you have to. Let's see, Vatsalaji, good to have you. What do you think? If you have to use दिखाई देना instead of देखना, and same sentence, how would you say it?
पिछली रात आपको क्या दिखाई दिया?
Okay, very good. आपको क्या दिखाई दिया? Awesome. पिछली रात आपको क्या दिखाई दिया? Any question, anyone on this item?
There's no name.
No, it doesn't take name. It doesn't take name. This conjunct verb, it doesn't take name. Okay, to you, the literal translation is to you what was visible. If it helps, look at it in that perspective. To you what was visible last night. Following it? Okay, पिछली रात आपको क्या दिखाई दिया? Okay, the response to police can be different. You know, one person is really afraid. You know, one person is really afraid, they don't want to give any answers. There could be मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा. And again, I'm using मैंने कुछ नहीं. The response could be मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा. मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा. I did not see anything. Mind you, we are still not using दिखाई देना here. They are simply saying it. मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा. I did not see anything. Okay. मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा. Versus, if they want to use दिखाई देना in the story, okay, they can say, इंस्पेक्टर साहब बहुत कल रात बहुत रात को कोहरा नहीं होता, पर कल रात बहुत अंधेरा था. What does it mean? बहुत अंधेरा था. Anyone else? Anyone? कल रात
It was very dark last night.
Yeah. So kal raat is last night. It was very dark last night. Kal raat, it was very dark last night. To me, nothing was visible. So this is one way of saying it where we didn't use dikhai dena, and this is where you will use dikhai. You know, kal raat bahut andhera tha mujhe. Anyone else? Anyone would like to finish it? Mujhe?
Can I?
Yeah.
मुझे कल रात बहुत अंधेरा no.
You already had said it. कल रात बहुत अंधेरा था मुझे.
कल रात बहुत अंधेरा दिखाई.
No, so you want to say I just like this. You want to say मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा would be will be
मुझे कुछ नहीं दिया.
Very good. मुझे कुछ नहीं
दिया. मुझे कुछ नहीं दिया. Just thinking.
दिया along with there's a what's the verb here? What's the verb?
देखा.
The word is
दिखाई.
The verb.
दिखाई दिया.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yep. Finish it. मुझे कुछ नहीं.
मुझे कुछ नहीं दिखाई दिया.
Very good. मुझे कुछ नहीं दिखाई दिया. You got it, right? So the verb is still दिखाई देना. You are just conjugating you remove the na and you're conjugating the na here, right? मुझे कुछ नहीं दिखाई दिया. I think Haikeji is sharing some rule. You want to share it? Okay. I think using subject, ko, object, दिखाई, conjugated form of देना. Okay, awesome. Hopefully you guys are following it. Okay, we're just still using the दिखाई देना, but that's in the past.
There is no there after dikhai.
Say it again one more time. Oh,
There is no there.
Yeah, so the question is there is no they. So dikhai dena is the verb. In the previous sentence, you see that? In the previous sentences we were doing. Yep. So so you're conjugating dena for past tense, right? So diya, diye or di.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's say the person wants to say I see some notorious people, or in this case I'm using the word notorious people. I'm using the word badmash log. Badmash log. How will you say that? And it's a masculine plural. Can you guys complete a sentence using this? That the notorious people were visible to me, or I saw notorious people.
Shall I try?
Huh?
मुझे
Uh-huh.
कुछ बदमाश लोग दिखाई दिए.
Very good. मुझे कुछ बदमाश लोग दिखाई दिए. Right, so that's for masculine plural. Right, so dena becomes diye. Okay. Hopefully we are still following it. Okay. Okay, awesome. मुझे एक भूत दिखाई दिया. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Vidya, भूत is ghost, right? मुझे एक भूत दिखाई दिया. So that was the answer. Now, so far we've done that. You can say it in present. You can say in past. Okay. दिखाई देना can also be used in future, just like any other verb. Okay, but you have to conjugate it accordingly. So I'm going to quickly give some examples of that, then we can move to sunai dena, which is very similar to dikhai dena, the usage of it. Okay, so I'll pick up a pace here. Hopefully hopefully it's not too fast for you. So dikhai dena, and in future you will conjugate this one, so it will be dega, degi, denge. Okay, based on what the noun is, right? So let's say who lives in LA? We have Tom who lives in LA, right? So my example is like, today you will see, let's say, solar eclipse in LA. You will see a solar eclipse in LA. How will you say that in Hindi, Tom?
आज मुझे eclipse दिखाई देगा.
Very good, very good. मुझे आज LA में solar eclipse दिखाई देगा. Okay. The Hindi word for eclipse is, so solar eclipse is Surya Grahan. Right. So you have a Surya Grahan. Sa with U, Ya with Ra, and Ga, Ra, Han. It's a little bit difficult, but you can say solar eclipse. That's completely fine. Okay. आज रात LA में solar not रात को, but for the sake of this example, right? You don't see eclipse, solar eclipse in night, but आज LA में solar eclipse दिखाई देगा. Okay, you conjugated the dena part. Okay. Similarly, let's say the example, and this time I want to see Unity. You there, right? Okay. So it's okay. Awesome. So let's say the question to you is, let's say there's a prediction that you will see a lot of shooting stars in Thailand. How will you say that?
आपको बहुत shooting stars दिखाई देगी.
So many stars.
Oh, देंगे.
Very good. आज रात बहुत सारे shooting stars दिखाई देंगे. Okay, that's how you say it. Okay. Some people, they do fast. Okay, and they break the fast when they see the moon, right? And let's say the news channel is saying like you will see the moon at 10 o'clock today. Okay, how will you say that, Sangeeta ji? I can repeat it one more time in case. Yeah.
Can you repeat it? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you repeat the question?
So the question is, let's say, the news channel is telling people that, the moon will be visible at 10 o'clock tonight.
आज रात चांद 10 बजे दिखाई देगा.
Very good. Awesome. So I'm going to write it down so that everybody can follow it. So it will be आज रात चांद, which is moon. आज रात चांद 10 बजे दिखाई देगा. Now, this may be a harder sentence for some of you, but don't worry about that, right? Because it requires many things, right? You should be able to tell 10 o'clock is 10 baje. You should definitely know this word dikhai dena. Then you should know about the future conjugation. How do you conjugate it? This part, it's fine. Like moon is chan, aaj raat is this night. But like to bring all of them together, it's as you're learning, if it's still challenging to you, don't you are on the right track, I would say, right? I mean, so hang in there. Okay. Any questions so far before we jump to the second part, which is sunai dena? Very similar, but any questions on this one? On dikhai dena, you guys feel?
question?
Yeah.
One question. हिंदी भाषा में मून चांद मस्कुलिन है.
हिंदी भाषा में
मस्कुलिन है चांद मस्कुलिन.
That's right. Hindi भाषा में moon is masculine. Chandni is feminine. I don't know if it makes. Chandni is the moonlight. Okay, that's feminine, but moon is masculine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Like they'll say, yeah. Good so far. Any questions? You guys feel comfortable using dikhai dena? Okay, so here's the quick homework exercise. 5 sentences using dikhai dena. Okay, you can use any tense. You can use present. You can use past or future. Your choice. Okay, but use something that you feel comfortable using on a day-to-day basis. Okay, it could be something like when you don't see your best friend, वो दिखाई नहीं दे रही है. Okay, कहाँ गई? Okay, right. So we'll shift gears. We'll do the next one, which is sunai dena. Sunai dena. Sunai dena, which is basically to be heard. Sunai dena is to be heard. Or to
What does dena mean?
Yeah, what do you think it means? You have to, let's say you have to guess. If you were to just use dena, it was to give. Right? To give. मैं आपको gift देता हूँ. I give you a gift. Okay? Opposite of लेना. मैं आपसे to receive, right? मैं आपसे letter or papers लेता हूँ. Okay? But in this case, dena, when it is used along with a noun and an adjective, it becomes a conjunct verb. And the meaning is neither sunai, neither dena. It means to be heard, to become audible. Right? Make sense or? Was that Anushka? Okay. Alright, so sunai dena, to be heard or to become audible. Okay? So let's say it could be, so let's say aapko, just like the way we make the sentences before, aapko kya sunai de raha hai? आपको क्या सुनाई दे रहा है? What is audible to you? Okay, you can say हमको आपकी आवाज, your voice सुनाई दे रही है. Okay, आपकी आवाज, I'm going to write it down. सुनाई दे रही है. Your voice is audible to us. Okay, or you can say आशु जी कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. This one you can just star it in your notebook because you can really use it here as it is. कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. Like, you know, it's a very common thing. Not these days because the cell phone reception for the most part is pretty good. But back in the day when you were using the other phone, you couldn't hear anything. You know, that's the most common phrase you will hear from like the other side. कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. तेज बोलो. Like, just speak out loud. कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. Nothing is audible to me. Okay? मुझे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. Okay? Hopefully all of you have experienced.
Ashu Ji?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, you just, without putting any music, sometimes you hear the same old song for that day.
Yeah.
So, for example, you kind of, it comes into your, you feel like you're hearing that song all the time, or you want to sing that song all the time. In that case, can you say that mujhe, like a Rasika Ballama Gana, Sunai De Raha?
नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है. सुनाई दे रहा है.
Sunai De Raha.
Okay. So basically, you know,
I'm hearing that song. To me, no, like I feel like I'm hearing that song.
Okay, but is it played somewhere? Okay, one is it is okay.
Yeah.
If it is played somewhere and then you are hearing, you can say it. If it is just if it is going in your mind, you can say mere. If it is playing in your mind, then you can say mere dimag mein ye gana chal raha hai. That is, it's playing in my mind. It's not really being So आपको क्या सुनाई दे रहा है? आपकी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है. Okay, कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. Like nothing is audible to me. Okay, or sometimes when there is a background noise, a lot of noise. How will you say? Like you hear a lot of noise. Let's say someone who has not tried before. Simona ji, you hear a lot of noise. What will you say?
Moshe, bahut noise. I don't know how is noise.
Sunai de रखी है.
Very good. बहुत noise और बहुत शोर. Very good. Somebody said शोर. बहुत शोर सुनाई दे रहा है. बहुत शोर सुनाई दे रहा है. Awesome. Okay. Anyone else has interesting sentences that you would like to share for सुनाई दे रहा है? Sarah ji, you want to share something?
Sorry, I was just talking to myself out loud. I'm not sure if I really fully understand this actually.
Okay. Okay.
Because it kind of seems passive. But
It is passive. Not. It is passive.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So what could I hear passively?
Or what could you not hear? So let's say the scenario. Let's say you have to translate the entire scenario. Last night or yesterday, the teacher was speaking so slowly, or he was not audible to me.
Okay, so कल रात मुझे आज पक की आवाज I don't know what slowly is actually. इतनी slow बोल so इतनी धीरे बोल रहे थे कि मुझे कुछ नहीं सुनाई दे रहा था. Could not.
I did not hear anything. Past tense.
मुझे कुछ नहीं सुनाई दिया.
Very good. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm sweating.
Yeah. So I'll write it down. Okay, I'll write it down because all of a sudden I shift gears from present to past. So दिखाई, just like दिखाई देना become दिखाई दिया. सुनाई देना. So far we were saying सुनाई दे रहा है, दे रही है, to सुनाई दिया. So the sentence I'm going to write it. कल teacher. I'm going to just write teacher for अध्यापक. कल teacher बहुत धीरे बोल रहा. I'm going to just use slightly informal. बोल रहा था. Yesterday he was very low. His volume was very low, but past continuous. कल टीचर बहुत धीरे बोल रहा था. मुझे. That's how teenagers will speak, right? I mean, generally speaking, like they will not be like बोल रहे थे. They will not be respectful. They will be very, most likely they will be very raw in their sentence, right? कल टीचर बहुत धीरे बोल रहा था. मुझे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दिया. मुझे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दिया.
Excuse me, Ashu, Dira is not like slowly, like, not in a low voice.
That's right. It's in this case, the voice was not audible, but Dira
is when you ask someone, Dira bolo, it's to speak slowly so that you can understand them, but I thought it doesn't mean that you cannot hear it.
It can also be used in that, and I think that part is confusing. Dheere means to walk slowly. Dheere bolo, dheere chalo. But like वो बहुत धीरे बोल रहा था. Like his, it can also be used where his volume was low.
Oh, so it's both, okay.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't make sense if you ask someone dheere bolo and then he will just lower his voice.
Yeah. So when you say dheere bolo, it's like pace, like slow down your pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought. Okay.
Yeah, no, I can see the confusion. But you're right there. Like it's the context, whether it is about pace or whether it is about the volume. Yeah.
Sorry, Ashu Ji.
Yeah.
Is it the avaz that is like low voice?
You can say dhima. I think that's the better one. बहुत धीमे. Yeah, you can say that's the better one actually. बहुत धीमे बोल रहा था. बहुत धीमे धीमे बोल रहा था. You can say that. It's much better. Teacher बहुत धीमे बोल रहा था. But you will be surprised. Most of the Hindi speakers will end up using धीरे for both. But you know, grammatically you are absolutely right. धीमे बोल रहा था. Hopefully that avoids your confusion, Simona ji. Because for volume intensity you use dhima. For pace you use dhire. Yeah. Okay. We can take questions now. So for folks who are watching live on Facebook, I stopped the broadcast. Thank you so much.